Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another exciting episode of Hollywood Backlot with Lou and you. My name is VashSky. I'm your host of today's ceremonies, and to, I think, my left, your right, it is the one, the amazing LW Ghost. Hello there, Lou.
Hey there, hi there, ho there. You're as welcome as can be. Of course, how welcome that is anybody's guess. But anyway.
Yes, it is anybody's guess as to how welcome anybody is. But hey, you know what? With you amazing people out there, you are always welcome into the house of, well, the Backlot, I guess. The Backlot. You're always welcome on the Backlot. There you go. That's the way we
could mispronounce and say the house of Goust to go with mouse, but I don't know. Sounds a little stretch. But then we stretch all the time around here, don't we? I tell you.
We do stretch around here all the time. And speaking of stretch, well, if you're talking about squash and stretch, you're talking about animation. And we have a story here that I think
do we?
Yeah, I think is worth highlighting a little bit because it's more of a theme park story, admittedly. But you know, we talk about the Backlot, we talk about the movie making, but we also talk about animation from time to time. And this is a nice little animation story as well. Here you go, from Block Mickey. Robin Williams' Lost Boy character returns to Disney's Hollywood Studios in 2026. So what's going on here is, if we scroll down, there's something that's really, really cool about this little poster that they put out for their upcoming The Magic of Disney Animation show or attraction that they're going to have for Disney's Hollywood Studios. You can see right here, up in the upper right corner, you see this little guy, this little, character with, kind of looks like a lost boy from Peter Pan. You can see him right there. That character was actually originally voiced and created, in association with Robin Williams back in 1989, when they had the Back to Neverland short that used to play at Disney's MGM Studios in this part of this theme park. And the idea was, well, let's go ahead and show people the animation process, right, of ink and paint and animation cells and how that all comes together, so that way when you actually see animators actually working at this fully formed and operational, to quote the Emperor, animation studio, you actually know what you're actually going to be seeing.
Yeah. So are they going to build an animatronic of Robin now, too, to go with Walt?
No animatronic of Robin, unfortunately. But there was this special that they produced, like this Back to Neverland special here, with Walter Cronkite, of all people, and Robin Williams to take you through this process. It's actually a pretty cool piece right here that was, I believe it looks like, actually done in conjunction with Disney Animation to really take people through an authentic experience right here. And to have a callback to something so niche, I think was actually really cool. You don't often see that a whole lot.
Well, the part about it that gets me is, considering how eager they are to wipe out anything that didn't happen in the last 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. I wonder how many of the contemporary audience that they think they're shooting for, of young people, even knows who Walter Cronkite is.
Yeah,
I should say.
You know, we were recording an episode of That Park Place actually with Nolan Thunder, and we were going over the notes for this show, and it's basically the story that I'm talking about right now.
They could do a show. Suddenly, Walter Cronkite returned. The Lost Boys.
Suddenly, right? Yeah, exactly, right? That's perfect. But it's so funny because when we were going over it and I was describing what this was, Nolan's like, "Who's Walter Cronkite?" And I'm like, "Oh man,
the Beatles?
Really,
you mean far. Paul's other band?"
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because it's like, obviously a very famous name to both you and I, Lou, and to the majority of our audience. But there are a number of young people who don't know those things.
In those days, Disney did not have an association with ABC, so a CBS guy could show up on their shows like that. right?
Right.
Now, I bet they wouldn't happen. So
Right.
anyway,
And the reason why Walter Cronkite's in there is because, well, he did the narration for Spaceship Earth. So they already had kind of an association with him. That was kind of Michael Eisner's idea to, okay, let's go ahead and imbue everything we do with celebrity. And that's why Walter Cronkite was.
yeah, and that gave us
slid in
Ellen's Energy Extravaganza and all the other
Right.
and the Hollywood Star Limo thing at DCA.
Superstar Limo, that's right.
Oh, God.
Oh man, guys! If you don't remember Superstar Limo, I actually have my assets here from that show. Let me see if I can bring them up
Your
real fast.
what set?
My assets, my
Okay, I didn't know your ass
my-
came in sets, but anyway.
my photography. Let's see here. If
It
I
was
can
dreadful.
just,
It was so dreadful.
it was so bad here. Let me see if I can.
And by the way, did anybody? I just noticed it, and I hadn't thought about it before. Remember, everything I do here is spontaneous, folks. But that shot of the genie doing that stepping out, isn't that basically the frog from Warner Brothers? You know, hello my honey, hello my baby. I mean, it's the same.
Yes, it is. You're completely right about that. There's a lot of, animators. They obviously have their fond memories of animation that have come before them, and so they imbue that a little bit in whatever they do. So there you go. But here's that Superstar Limo we were talking about before, and it went a little crazy, Lou. It went a little. You got Whoopi Goldberg here. It's going to be in airport terminal. I forgot about that. You've got Cher, which that's something. Cyndi Lauper. You have Drew Carey, which, by the way, that animatronic is still there, folks. Just did a different skin. You have Jackie Chan. So you had all of these kind of celebrities that were really part of ABC at that point, that they had access to, that they had the license for, that could quickly kind of shoehorn in this developing theme park that was Disney California Adventure at that time. And that's really, why they did something like this. It was just, and there's even more of a backstory to it. It originally was going to be like a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. The press and paparazzi are following you and you have to dodge them and all that. Well, and then Princess Diana passed away. So it was like, well, we can't do anything like that. So let's go ahead and make the vehicles as slow as possible. Let's do this as more of a tour of Hollywood. And that's why you had those celebrities there. And it just,
anyway, for those of you who never saw it, Mazel Tov, you missed nothing, or worse than nothing.
You missed worse than nothing, yes. But it went crazy. But hey, Robin Williams, though, I'll say this. That was his first, that Back in Neverland short that he did. Again, available on YouTube, and I'll go ahead and put a link to it in the chat here in just a moment. But that was the first time that he really ever did any work for Disney at that point. This was back in 1989. What is it? Aladdin doesn't come out until 1992, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that.
And this was really a precursor to the genie. There's some genie stuff in there, which is kind of really cool.
Let us say there's some Robin stuff in here and in the genie. It's not about. I mean, you'd never confuse this genie with Will Smith's, right? So
no, not at all, and that's true. That's a very good point. But he actually says, Robin Williams in this short, he says, when being interviewed by Walter Cronkite, what's your favorite animated movie? And he's like, Peter Pan. Now, of course, that could have been written in just to get us to
if
point
he's
A to
one of
point
the
B.
Lost Boys, it has to be Peter Pan.
Right. But I did find that kind of funny, too, because what is he doing later on? He's doing Hook, right, with Steven Spielberg.
Oh,
and
there are stories about that production that'll curl your hair.
Well, Lou, do you have anything from that? Because I kind of wanted to get into this a little bit.
Only rumors that Tinkerbell was high on more than magic. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, I have heard this too. But that was an incredibly expensive production.
Yeah.
I mean, just crazy. Where did they build those sets? Do we know?
sound stages somewhere. I believe Warner Brothers, if I remember right, but maybe Universal. Everybody rents to everybody else.
Right.
And Warner's, of course, had done that size of ship stuff back in the Errol Flynn days, where they actually had two. I think there's a great picture floating around somewhere. If I could find it, I'd bring it right up, but I can't. So we'll wait for the replay or something, or show it next week. I'll dig it out. Mm-hmm. But it actually shows the two, count them, two, pirate ships side by side on the stage at Warner Brothers back in the day. So anyway.
Let me see if I can find that here, because it's really hard to illustrate or to verbalize just how crazy the set production was for this. It was just crazy stuff. Let me see if I can get that up, because it's just so amazing what they were able to accomplish back in the day. And unfortunately, all of that production really does get expensive here. Let me see if I can get this. Here you go.
I see a picture of one from the Goonies, but I can't. Well, anyway, that classic shot that I remember, it doesn't seem. I probably have it saved in somewhere, and I'm only beginning to realize how massively oversaved my hard drive is, because, as I mentioned to you, I just moved from one computer to another, and those were the days.
Those were the days indeed.
Practical sets rather than CGI and all the rest of it. So
let me see here. But he, oh, here we go. Here's something for you. I'm going to go on Facebook for it, but you can see right here.
No. Don't take the Facebook. You'll kill yourself. No, anyway.
You can
stay
see.
Home.
What was that?
Why does it say stay home in pseudo Disney letters? Anyway, I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know. But the thing that's really poignant about this is that they went crazy with the production budget. You got John Williams doing the music, you got Steven Spielberg directing, you're thinking this thing is going to be a huge hit, and Robin Williams has definitely a fondness for Peter Pan, that character, doing this kind of sequel story, if you were from the original. I think it all had the ingredients for something really truly special, and it didn't materialize, I think, in the way that anybody originally hoped or envisioned, especially at the box office. That it just didn't do all that well, and it was kind of sad. But this was kind of at a point where Robin Williams was kind of getting back into Hollywood right there. His career was kind of turning around in that regard, and he's kind of up there, with wires and so forth in order to create the flight effects. And he gets a call that, hey, would you want to be part of a Disney production? And one thing turns to another, and that's where you get the genie. The problem with the genie, though, was he was already doing a movie, Toys, and it just kind of cut into that a little bit.
Right.
And it was like, okay, well, I'll do the genie because I do genuinely want to do work that my kids can see. But it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to do something that might cannibalize another film that I'm already working on. So if you could minimize the genie in advertisements, so that way I'm not kind of the leading figure for this film, I'll go ahead and do it. And that's kind of the gentleman's agreement that he had with Jeffrey Katzenberg. Unfortunately, when they started recording him, he just gave him all kinds of great stuff. The movie cut so much better with more of the genie in it. So it was like, well, we got to make this far more a prominent character in not just the movie, but in the advertisement. And so that's where the dilemma comes in, right? And Robin Williams was really upset for a lot of years over that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he, because it was kind of funny because classic Disney, right? Robin Williams had stipulated that they only use for any one advertisement, like billboard or poster, that the genie only take up a maximum of 25% of that billboard or poster. Right? It was with that specificity that he demanded.
Did he get an actual contract saying that?
I do believe so. Yes. But what they did was they would only do that for the LA market because they know that Robin Williams lived there. So I think when he visited New York, he was like, wait a minute, there's there's an advertisement out here that's all the genie, and it's like, yeah, I guess there is, right? And he was upset, and he was genuinely upset over it. And it's just this kind of this idea that, hey, I don't want to do any damage to what I already have said yes to. And unfortunately, Toys bombed at the box office, just did really, really bad. And guess what? Aladdin, it's basically the genie. I mean, it was incredibly successful, and everybody remembers Robin Williams from that role. And so after that, it was up until the point that Jeffrey Katzenberg left Disney that Robin Williams finally was like, okay, let's go ahead and do some more work with you guys. But he was genuinely upset about that, and it's incredibly fascinating.
The stuff you don't know. I didn't know any of that.
Really? Yeah, yeah.
Really?
They definitely thought, yeah, and that's a good point. Okay, so let me bring up the second part of this.
Hollywood Backlot with Vash and you, I tell you.
No. So Wild Man and Yavin is
I'm happy to learn it, but he was experienced enough to know that if he signed that contract, they were going to screw him anyway. So what's the problem?
And he did it for almost no money because he really wanted to be a team player. He wanted to do it for his kids, and it was not about it was not his first commitment. So he did it for almost nothing, $75,000 for that work, which should have been a multi-million-dollar performance, obviously. So he felt genuinely hurt that, okay, I'm going to take the pay cut, right, so that I can control somewhat of not the production, but the advertisement for this movie. That's the kind of the agreement that I think that's what was stipulated by Jeffrey Katzenberg is like, okay, if you're going to put these mandates on us, take a little bit less money. He does, but they don't actually fulfill their side of the agreement.
He should have referred to a famous Roy Disney quote, which you probably don't know.
Please.
When someone talked to Roy about the nature of showbiz, and he replied, "Why do you think they call it this effing business?" So he really did. He really did.
He really did say that? Yeah, yes. That's amazing. Oh,
so,
Roy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so this thing is out now, the animation thing, or?
It is expected to open, if not later this year or early next. And it'll be replacing the Star Wars launch bay, actually, in Disney's Hollywood Studios, which, is kind of funny because another Star Wars thing gets replaced. But it is coming, and it's really cool to see that it seems like they're very mindful of not just what they're trying to accomplish with this new show, but what has come before. And I think that's, give credit where credit
I would have thought with recent developments at Disney Animation, they would have put this in the Canada Pavilion at Epcot.
That's pretty good. That's pretty funny. Oh, boy. Daniel Alpine, 1994 with D499. Fingers crossed that Hext will at least use the animation style into the Spider-Verse used. Hext, I believe, was the new show that they announced at Destination D23. I don't know too much about it. I'm still actually trying to get caught up to as to what was actually formally announced at Destination D23. But I guess it is pretty. It's pretty. There's a lot of enthusiasm and anticipation for it. Deadline, Disney announces Hext magical animated film set for fall 2026 premiere. The Spike Glenn Garner, Walt Disney Studios Animation, has announced Hext as its next original feature during Saturday's presentation at Destination D23. During his presentation in Orlando, Florida, CCO Jared Bush, I believe Jared may have replaced, I think that was the one that replaced the former head of Disney Animation right there. I'm trying to get everything caught up here. Revealed the title and a November 2026 theatrical premiere window for the film, which is directed by Josie Trinidad and Jason Hand, with Roy Conley and Juan Pablo Ruiz Lancaster Jones producing. In Hext, an awkward teenage boy and his type A mom discover what makes him unusual might just be his magical powers that will turn their lives and a secret world of magic upside down.
Should we be holding our breath worrying that what makes him unusual might be more explicit than that?
I think that's
Or am
genuinely
I just
something you might want to.
pessimistic when it comes to Disney announcements. So
Right. I hope that that's not the case. But Lou, I can't.
we won't know until we know. But
We won't know until we know. But you got to think that's where they're.
I mean, I just want to make sure I let Snoop Dogg know whether he can take his kid to see it. That's all.
Oh, interesting. Man, if you haven't, just Googled it. Apparently, Disney did send Robin a Picasso as a mea culpa for Aladdin. That's interesting. I never heard that part of the story.
On the other hand, it was drawn by the animators and wasn't real. So anyway.
Yes, exactly.
It was a Picasso of the dragon with two eyes on one side of his head. Anyway,
that's very funny. But there's been a lot of stuff coming out of this Destination D23. We're actually going to cover it most extensively on the WWE Pro Show and on that Marketplace Morning Magic on Tuesday. That Pro Show tonight, by the way, will
tonight.
Oh yes,
Sunday night, a special super duper super secret Pro Show, huh? Well,
oh yes. I am. It's going to be interesting because I'm going to race home to 300 miles, as fast as I can just to prepare for that show. Great. Oh yes, absolutely. But that should be a lot of fun going over some of the stuff that they've announced right there. Not just studio talk, but also a lot of theme park stuff. Not earth shattering by any means, but well, they have announced the team comprising of Imagineers that are going to be doing Villains Land. That's very, very interesting because it might actually be worse than what we've heard. I'll put it that way. Also, as Ron will go over the dish following our show right now, actually, they are doubling down on Walt, Lou. Did you see that announcement?
Yeah, I did. They're going to stick him in. I'm trying to figure out, people are talking about putting him in the opening curtain or whether, in the original ride in New York, the last stage, you walked into the stage and up an escalator and saw the Future World map, the Epcot map, model, I should say, which would make more sense as a place to put him, but I guess they can't do that. So,
yes. So it looks like, going by the press release, and we'll obviously have more coverage on this as we go along here, but judging by the press release, it looks like, that first scene at Florida's version of the Carousel of Progress, there lacks any scene at the very front of it, right? It's just a sign, and then you move. It looks like they'll be adding Walt there as kind of an introductory sequence.
Which makes you wonder, is there going to be a curtain, or is he just going to be standing there staring at you as you file in and sit down?
I gotta think there's a curtain there.
Yeah,
But you're right. I mean, they can screw this up very easily. I will say it's going to be kind of weird to see a brand new audio animatronic with all the bells and whistles in the form of Walt Disney, and then as you take your rotation, you're going to be seeing kind of older audio animatronics that have been there since the 60s. Not there in that spot, but been around since the 60s. So I do kind of.
I just want to know if somebody's going to say, Walt, don't bark at him. He might be a good customer of the ABC View.
Yeah, he's a good customer of General Electric. Yes, I gotcha. That's funny. But yeah, I mean, does this? And here's the other thing too. Does the show need updating? I mean, I don't think anybody can argue. But are they going to limit it to just the final sequence? Guys, you're fooling yourself if you think that's the case.
Well, it's a matter of, do they want to spend the money?
Yep.
There's a if it ain't broke, don't fix it, even if it needs to be fixed because it is broke attitude with them when it comes to spending money. So, on the other
We'll
hand,
go
if we could sell it to the Arabs and pack it up and fix it,
well,
it
that's
is an
true.
indoor attraction in an air-conditioned park. So,
You know that, and that has happened before, Lou. Not with the Arabs, but with Japanese, because the Japanese wanted the Mickey Mouse review for Tokyo Disneyland back in the day, and Disney's like, "Well, I'll just back it up and ship it over there," and that's what they did. So the Mickey Mouse review made its way from Walt Disney World and would open up at Tokyo Disneyland. So. They've done that before. Wouldn't surprise me.
Some of those stories about the Japanese coming to Disneyland and telling him what they wanted and what they didn't, and when they showed him the grotto and explained how the statues came from some art school in Italy and the scale was all wrong, and they forced perspectived them so that they would fit. And the Japanese, of course, loved the whole idea because it's bonsai, But when they said, of course, for you, we'll make them to the right scale to begin with, and Japanese said, no, you won't. You will make them authentically wrong and fix it just like you did here. So,
Wow.
And then what was this? There was the other story about that the one thing the Japanese said they didn't want was the popcorn carts on Main Street, because they said in Japan it was considered low class, or like you were a beggar to be eating while you're walking down the street. And they said, why don't you just try one? For starters, and see how it goes. And the first year, that one popcorn cart allegedly made $1 million. And at that point, they said, I guess cultural isn't that big a deal after all. I guess they'll go for it.
Right.
But now they've got this supposedly at this new Fantasy Springs edition, they've got some very bizarre popcorn flavors. I mean, weird stuff that everybody who goes there who's American says, we love the whole place. It's beautiful, but don't eat that popcorn. It's not good. So I forget. I wish I remembered what the flavor is, but
I can't remember either.
It's not something obvious like seaweed or whatever. Anyway.
Let me see. I'll find it for you. But no, it's they do stuff a little bit differently over there, and the cuisine is definitely something. Let me see.
Let's see
roast
here.
beef.
Yes, here. Roast beef, but also they have salt, curry, milk chocolate, soy sauce and butter, garlic shrimp flavored popcorn, Chinese chili flavor, roast beef flavor. I guess whatever you can do to a ramen, you can do to a popcorn by the Japanese standards. So, what the heck?
Yikes! Yeah. Go heavy on the rides, but go light on the popcorn. Huh? Yeah, that's
caramel,
okay.
Soy sauce and butter. I could see that working.
Okay.
Milk chocolate, sure. Curry, yeah, I guess. Honey flavor, well, that would work. Black pepper. Strawberry Napoleon. That's strange.
Strawberry Napoleon.
Yeah, I mean, what makes it? I mean, a Napoleon is well. Anyway, I guess it could be some sort of fake, flaky pastry flavor to it, or egg custard. I don't know, but
is there squid? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I remember when. What's that outfit that makes the great pickles, pretzels? Snyder's. When they first started coming out with flavored pretzels, and they had a dill pickle one, and it was really good. And they had a steak and onion one, and it was really good. Then they had some other one that wasn't even slightly good. So anyway, by my palate, your mileage may vary.
It only takes one, right? It only takes the, and then that's what you remember.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, culinary magic, animation magic. Got any more magic for us today?
Oh, we got a little bit more magic. And speaking of good, well, we got to talk about something that was really, really good back in the day. That's Who Framed Roger Rabbit. As I was doing a little bit of research on Robin Williams, Disney MGM.
Please do tell us about it.
I got to, Lou. I got to. I forget just how incredible this movie was, and just the quantum leap in both the animation quality and actually filmmaking. I don't know, style, filmmaking in general. How much it was forwarded by a film like this. Very expensive production, and the idea was with Robert Zemeckis directing, and I believe Steven Spielberg produced this film.
Yeah, but you know what the key to it all was?
Please.
Bob Hoskins.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to be, like everybody does now, talking to a green screen or a red tennis ball or whatever. It's another thing to be acting like all of these tunes mixing in real society are perfectly normal. That's just the way the world is, and you take it. And then deal with the characters and the issues and all the rest of it. So he made it work. He bought into it fully,
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. He definitely made it work. I think he was...
Because he's our way into that world.
Correct.
It's just like I've said about Roy Scheider, both in Jaws and in 2010, being the audience's way into what the hell's going on here, asking the questions we would ask if we were there. So...
Yeah. No, absolutely. You have to... You do definitely experience this film in this incredible world through his eyes, and so you need that kind of straight man to that the audience can empathize with and really place themselves in that role to go through this journey here, and that's a really particular quality. And I think Bob Hoskins does an amazing job with that. He wasn't everybody's first choice. I think there was a number of different actors that they were considering before, but he may have turned it down. I'm not sure initially, but obviously was convinced, and really it was one of his I think defining roles in the hearts and minds of many people who actually saw this film. Just absolutely phenomenal stuff right there, and honestly, it was getting so crazy in terms of production budget that I think Jeffrey Katzenberg flew down and he's like, "Look, we don't have a single dollar more that we can spend on this movie because." It got to the point where even if it was a hit, it was unlikely to make its money back. Little did they know.
Back when they cared about such things.
Right. Exactly.
Golden, old, and nostalgic days of caring.
Yes. Of caring and fiduciary duty and all those little things, Lou. Don't get caught up in the details, but. It was, I guess, maybe, Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, Harrison Ford. Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, so there was a bunch of different actors who were considered for this role. But, when you got to think, right, this is 1988. This is one of the first big productions that Michael Eisner and his team have really approved and are going forward with, and they're bringing in these kind of outside directors, right? People that haven't been necessarily affiliated with Disney before, and they're trying to relaunch Disney live action. They're also trying to infuse talent for Disney animation, right? With I believe it was the Rogers team from London and so forth. And so it was like there was a lot riding on this. But even still, it's it's kind of like Hook, right? You don't want to go so crazy that it's like, okay, well, even if this thing isn't super successful, it can still make its money back. They just didn't know. They had no idea that this was going to turn into a juggernaut that it was for the late 1980s.
That's true.
But
happily it did, and yet no sequel.
No sequel. And the reason why, Lou.
God for that.
Well, okay, so this is interesting. There's a reason why there was no sequel to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And it's not because they didn't have great ideas. They absolutely had amazing ideas for how to continue the story. But the problem that occurred was that, remember I talked about how Steven Spielberg was producing this movie? That's critical to understanding all of this because, and he was so instrumental in making the moves that made this movie possible. For example, Disney wanted access to the Warner Brothers characters to really infuse this story with a cross pollination, let's say, of animation, right? And make Toontown believable and all of that. The Disney animators, Robert Zemeckis, everybody wanted access to those Warner Brothers characters, but they were, they didn't want any part in it. It was Steven Spielberg who made that deal happen and were able to get the rights to the Warner Brothers characters to incorporate them into Roger Rabbit. And yeah, there was that famous deal where it's like, okay, Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny have to have equal representation on screen, and that's why they're seen both at the same time whenever they are on screen, and that kind of thing. But the Roger Rabbit character had a 50% deal with Steven Spielberg. Very unusual, but it was one they kind of had to make to bring Steven in on to produce this film. And because of that, well, now you have another party that you have to, make happy when it came to success of films and theme park incorporation and all of that. Well, from what I've heard, doing a lot of research into this, from what I understand, Steven Spielberg, there was a series of shorts they were producing, these Roger Rabbit shorts that would play in front of these films. And I think one played in front of Dick Tracy and a couple of others. Anywho's, Jeffrey Katzenberg really wanted a Roger Rabbit film to play in front of Dick Tracy because they felt that they needed to have as many things going for that film as possible because of how expensive it was and for how much the studio was relying on it. Whereas I think Steven Spielberg wanted a short in front of Arachnophobia. And yeah, exactly. I know.
Yeah, sure.
I know.
Let's a cheerful rabbit in front of a spider terror picture. That'll make a lot of sense.
Well, it was just this okay, well, because Roger Rabbit was so popular, you put this in front of a movie and you say, hey, come to this film directed by Steven Spielberg or this film by Disney, and you'll see a Roger Rabbit short. That definitely gave those films a lot of cachet.
But on the other hand, it kind of said to the world, we think they're stinkers, but we want to lure you in anyway.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's true.
I mean, really, it's like you came from the short, stick around for the movie,
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
I mean, in the days of the classic Warner Brothers cartoons that went before Warner Brothers movies, they were never there to draw the audience. They were there to round out the program. But, well, I think, didn't they make a Baby Herman thing that was pretty prominent, seems to me? Separate. It wasn't a short, but I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, they did a lot. They did a couple of things during this time because it was. I mean, this was just a phenomenal film. It was just so big, and they were trying to infuse it in Disney's MGM Studios, even right at the point that park opened, because that was 1 year after that, and they didn't know that it was going to be this huge success. So, but they had posters and stuff like that up there. They had like the dip machine that's featured prominently in that film on display in that studio park for a period of time there. I mean, it was.
I think it's also fair to say that the style that was established in Roger Rabbit is what became Animaniacs.
Yes. Yeah. For sure. I mean, it inspired so much animation after this. But
I mean, that wacky off the wall craziness of Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain and all of that came out of the Roger Rabbit tradition, I think.
I think so. I think you're absolutely right.
Certainly, Jessica translated to Hello Nurse and all those other things that were, sex for kids, basically. I guess so. Wholesome, healthy sex for kids. So.
Well, and that was the thing too. That's why they put it under the Touchstone brand, because it was Michael Eisner didn't feel incredibly comfortable about associating that with Disney, right? This is very early on in Disney's history, and it's like, okay, let's not take that big a risk. Let's put it under Touchstone and just give a little bit of separation. But sure enough, it was like, okay, well, this is such a big hit. Let's put a Roger Rabbit right in Disneyland and everything. Anyway, when When Jeffrey Katzenberg got his way and Steven Spielberg didn't, Steven Spielberg pulled the plug on basically everything Roger Rabbit going forward. And that's why a sequel never happened, even though there was multiple scripts actually done for it. There was a story, Lou. Oh, so good. That Toontown was going to be finally destroyed. It was going to be finally ended. It's it. It's over. Even though we got Judge Doom out of here and that gave Toontown a couple more years, it's time to pave this over and go a different direction. And so the idea was this was going to be around the 1950s, if I recall correctly, whereas you have like the late 20s, early 30s, the time period for the first Who Framed Roger Rabbit is set. And what's going on in the 1950s? Well, it's the creation of Disneyland. And the idea was, okay, well, Walt is going to build a park out in Anaheim, and the Toon characters can live just behind that park, and that's where these Toontown characters can stay.
It's so funny how certain of these years have things connect that you wouldn't know unless you really looked at the history. Mm-hmm. We of the genre guys last night recorded, and you'll be seeing it soon, Touch of Evil, which was Orson Welles' last Hollywood studio movie, and which the studio took away from him, fired him, recut, basically ruined. But then later, Walter Murch, of all people, put that back together Welles' original version, or as close as they could get to it. Mm-hmm. But the point is, people were wondering, well, how come the studio was so afraid of this thing? Guess what year it was? 1958. And guess what studio it was? Universal. What happened in 1958 at Universal that is germane to our festivities here? He said, waving his Lew hand and saying, that's the year MCA bought Universal from Decca. Okay. And so there was this whole management transition thing going on. And because the studio was owned by Decca Records, for God's sakes, before that. And they bought the entire Universal Studios for $11 million, which try and get that real estate nowadays for that.
No
much.
Way.
That wouldn't buy Falls Lake, So anyway, so all of these things coming together at the same time is just kind of fascinating to me.
And it connects in two ways, Luke, because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, well, 1992 would have been the opening of Toontown, and that was a promotional piece for that. And you're exactly correct. But here's the other way it connects. Where were they going to shoot the scenes for the creation of Disneyland back in 55, now in the 1990s? They were going to shoot at Disneyland Paris, where they were constructing a Disneyland.
There you go.
That's how they were going to do it. It's just a great kind of synergistic exercise. I think it would have worked out really well, but unfortunately, it's just once.
And speaking of that, the other movie that we recorded last night was The Maltese Falcon.
Please.
And the Bob Hoskins character here is kind of a take on the whole Sam Spade, Humphrey Bogart, hard-boiled detective character. Oh. So there's all of these, reverberations through our culture that are fascinating.
That's so cool. Well, I just think it's incredibly fascinating, and that's why we do this show, Hollywood Backlot with Lou.
Is that why? Yeah. I thought it was for the vast riches that we are bestowed upon by Pro, aren't we? I'm waiting, by the way, for my check, but I'm patient. Anyway.
From what I understand, it's in the mail
we'll never
being delivered by snail. Anyway, Lou, what do you got going on over the genre, guys? I know you were just talking about the films that you had just recorded.
Yeah,
do we have any on the horizon?
We had kind of a noir double feature. I say double feature. It doesn't come out as a double feature, but we record because especially Lauren is so much in demand right now with his show with Kevin Apollo, which is great. We're shooting 2 at a time every other week rather than 1 a week every week. And the next pair, should I reveal the next pair of movies?
Please.
That we've agreed to do. Do you want a strange double feature? I'll give you strange. How about, on the one hand, A Boy and His Dog, which is a marvelous tale that really was, why can't I think of his name now? What's wrong with my head? Mr. Miami Vice's first movie, really, of any note, Don Johnson, which is a post-apocalyptic futuristic tale when all soldiers have a companion who is a telepathic dog that basically sniffs out the enemy and talks to them by mental telepathy. There it is, the boy and his dog. And by the way, the voice of the dog is Jason Robards in this thing. And I actually got to know the people that made it because they brought it down to film school when I was there. And of course, it's written by, oh God, he's such a character. He's such a damn character. Anyway, you'll like it. Then, for something completely different, and I say that advisedly because it's kind of a Monty Python catchphrase and they're all in it, although it's not a Python movie, The Magic Christian, which is part of a whole tradition in that era of these wacky, crazy, off-the-wall British comedies. How I Won the War, What Did You Do in the War, Daddy? I'm trying to think of some of the others. But The Magic Christian is about, believe it or not, Peter Sellers and Ringo as father and adopted son. And Peter Sellers is Sir Guy Grand, that grand guy who's got more money than anybody and is basically out there testing what will people do for it. And they will do a lot of strange things, as you'll see. And it has guest stars from all the Python guys, and Yul Brynner is in it in a cameo. Really? And Roman Polanski is in it in the same cameo scene with Yul Brynner. Christopher Lee plays Dracula in it. Wilfred Hyde-White. It's so bizarre. Oh, and of course Raquel Welch. So
okay,
it's you should watch that one sometime, guys, because it's wonderfully hilarious and strange. And of course, the music is by Badfinger, which was Paul's other band, which was these guys who Paul McCartney put together as a band. And it's very kind of pseudo Beatlesy music. And I think you'll enjoy it. I did over and over again.
Wow.
And so there's something in our future, and then there's more and more and more and more and more. And we invite people to comment and like. And then, of course, those movies show up first as member perks on the Pro Channel. And then they come here a few months later. And I see somebody, Ron is saying, Raquel Welch. Yeah, well, in this, you better believe, wait till you see her outfit. In fact, I made the thumbnail and I said, one Ringo to rule them all. Anyway.
Wow. Well.
So there's a few things coming up, and then they show up here eventually, and Vash eventually adds a lot more pictures, and you'll have fun putting the pictures in from this one because I know you. It'll be 90% Raquel, and hey, what's wrong with that?
That won't be 90% Raquel.
No,
it sounds like she will be featured.
She is featured in a brief but exciting moment in the movie. And the Magic Christian, by the way, is an ocean liner, in case you didn't know. And Raquel is responsible for the engine room. And I'll just leave it at that and let people watch the movie. But anyway, there's that. And then usually I'm on with you on Tuesdays at 3 for the theme park extravaganza. And usually I'm on Monday nights on the Pro Show Super Secret Probation late night show. And other than that, as the heart may prompt, I do Ron's show every so often, and I did Kevin and Apollo and Lauren. I'm just around, and I keep teasing, but I haven't quite got it together yet. But I'm creating something of my own that will debut around here fairly shortly once I get my technical issues solved with this new computer. So anyway, it'll be insightful.
I cannot wait.
And funny, I hope. Anyhow.
Well, and there's something else, Lou.
Oh?
You got this week's jukebox.
Oh, by God, yes. Just to show you how movie and TV music, as we've already shown you, can go through all kinds of interpretations. Would you believe the theme from the wonderful show Sherlock, done what you might call Bollywood style by these 3 Indian musicians? It's pretty special. I think you'll enjoy it. Go ahead and listen to it sometime.
Sorry about that. Just putting it in the chat right there for everybody to enjoy. I'm also going to go ahead and put another link in the chat to that Back to Neverland short because I think it's pretty cool to watch. I can't play any of it here because I'm sure it's copyrighted to death, but you can go ahead and experience that as well. I'll go ahead and put it under my personal account right there. That way there's some distinction between the two. I think that just about
does yes, we should tell everybody there's a super secret double probation show of the Pro Show tonight.
Yes.
Very unusual.
Yes. Very unusual. It's because of Labor Day. And, Pro wanted to definitely do something because I think he might be busy on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. But he definitely want to do something for the fans, for the audience. And I guess it's going to be a lot about this Destination D23 and what announcements have come from there. Some very interesting, some controversial, and some, well, downright bad. But to get to all of those, well, you'll have to see the Pro Show tonight. And also, too, following this show, you're going to be redirected to Follow the Bradley's Fun over there. Ron has the dish, and he's going to be going over some of those announcements as well. It should be a whole lot of fun, so stick around. Do not go anywhere.
How dishy. How positively dishy.
Absolutely. Positively dishy indeed. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun right there. If you want to go ahead and
some of us are born to do the dishes and some of us are born to dish, and that's just the way the world works. And
that's right. Yeah. That's right. And if you want to go ahead and dish out your questions to us, you can go ahead and do so at t3ponline@yahoo.com right there. We're building some of your questions up so that way we can go ahead and tackle them in a nice big show right there. And I think that just about does it right there. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe to T3PO. We're doing all kinds of great stuff on here, including T3PO Live. That's going to be on Tuesday. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do that show. Fairly certain. Although it's going to be quite the crazy week next week. So,
they all,
just stay tuned.
They all?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they all? The hits just keep on happening. What can I say?
They keep on coming. Wild Man of Yavin for $10. Saw your TPP take on Six Flags with LW. Completely agree with you. Red Lobster did that too. Waiting on other companies go bankrupt. People not working in the best interest of their companies make profit and bail. Yeah.
Ooh, Wild Man of Yavin. I don't know if you're a VIP member of the website, but I've got an article on there about some background on the Six Flags sales of parks that will fascinate you. Because talk about robbing Peter to pay Paul, it just blew my mind. And it wasn't a secret. It just wasn't promoted very well. But they did some real estate deals that are coming back to bite them in the butt. So there you go.
Yep.
Read it all about it there.
It's really sad, really something. It looks like Marvin hasn't posted your article quite yet, but definitely check out. Oh, is it?
Yeah. I saw it there today. It's in the VIP section. But
really,
yeah, I thought so.
Huh. Is Six Flags in the title?
The semi-hidden truth behind Six Flags park closings. Follow the money.
Oh yeah, here we go. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and put this in the chat right here. Check out Lou's article.
But this is not my doing, but they want you to join as a VIP person to read my stuff there because they think it's worth it. So, who am I to disagree?
I think it is very much worth it. But thank you so much, Wild Man of Yavin. Yeah, we're going to be talking a lot more, I think, about Six Flags and how they're managing their parks. We actually have a Nutsbury Farm story on T3PO Live. Again, if I happen to do it on Tuesday, I think I will. But just put it out there for right now. That I thought was a little shocking. It's a small store, but I think it's big in principle. So we'll go ahead and show you.
Anything to do with funnel cakes and boisemberry?
No, but it doesn't have something to do with lockers. So.
Oh, okay.
we'll go over it for sure. But yes, that's what's going on there. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit that like button. We love to see that engagement, to see your comments, to see everything. So thank you so much for supporting us here on Hollywood Backlot with Lou and you, but also that pod place. Let's go ahead and get out of here, Lou, and get over to the dish. Next week, same bat channel, same bat place, 2 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. We'll see you guys later. Take care.
Adios, muchachas.